What is the fastest way to be a high value, attractive man? Okay. So here's the honest truth. Okay. The fastest way to be attractive, right? I could tell you all the skills and the fastest methods. But the thing is, you're not going to be able to keep them. So what do I mean by that? So let me tell you a quick backstory. So one of my friends messaged me, and he knows that I used to be overweight. And he asked me, hey man, I've been trying to lose weight for the past 10 years. I'm on and off. I keep losing weight and gaining weight, losing weight and gaining weight. And he asked me, what do I do to keep it off and be in the best shape of my life? Because he knows what journey I went through, right? And I realized, I gave him the answer, but I realized in gain, it's the same answer. So the fastest way to lose weight, the fastest way, you see all these gimmicks online, right? The fastest way to do this. If you keep seeking the fastest way, yes, you will get fast results. I do believe you can lose weight fast, you can be attractive fast, you can get girls fast, blah, blah, blah. But the only way to maintain and keep those results and keep leveling up, whether it's your body, whether it's being an attractive man or high value man, is something called identity shifting. So let me tell you guys a quick example of what identity shifting is. So I've been on a fitness journey. I've been trying to stay in shape for years, right? I used to be fat since I was a baby. I was fat till I was 18. I lost the weight, got skinny, gained weight again. And there's all these pictures on my Instagram. You can check it out, Captain Daniel Kim, where you see my before and after. And until my age, right now, this year, it took me about, I started trying to be in shape in the best body when I was 21 probably. 18 was my real time, but then like 21. So it took me about 10 years to actually keep and maintain this body, and I just get better from this body. How did I do it? It's something called identity shifting. So I actually had a similar body to this about 2-3 years ago during COVID, because I actually was in Taiwan, and Taiwan was actually fully open. And I remember I had the body, and I lost it again as soon as I moved to Korea. And I made up an excuse, it's just because I was stressed out, blah, blah. But recently, I finally got the body. And as a fat kid, all my dreams came true. So basically, I was on this yacht boat party. And when I was at that party, I had the best body on the boat, right? I had the most ripped, jacked, whatever you want to call it, the best body on the boat. And I remember, for the first time, I got all the validation I wanted from everyone, right? So the women were touching my abs, kissing my abs, and some even, like, for fun, licked it, right? I mean, trust me, that felt good. The guys called me Super Saiyan. They were like, bro, you were so jacked. How'd you get that jacked? And I got all the validation from the guys, the women, and everything else, right? And I remember at the end of the night, we were going back home, and everyone was partying, everyone was kind of drunk. I don't drink because of my body, right? And I remember I went to the end of the boat, and I kind of did this Titanic scene, right? I kind of went to the end, and I just had a thought process, and I was thinking about my life, and the music was coming, and I had an epiphany, and I realized for your whole life, you sought the validation of others. You sought people to give you approval to have your nice body. For you to believe that you have a nice body, it had to come from other people's validation. People had to tell you you have a nice body. People had to tell you you're jacked. People had to tell you you're attractive. And I saw that, and I finally got it. But at the end of the night, everyone was in the back party, and I was alone in front of the boat. And I realized that the reason why I couldn't keep my body, the reason why I always went up and down with my weight loss or whatever, my attractiveness, whatever, was because I always depended on other people to create my identity. If other people said I'm handsome, then I'm handsome, right? If other people said I'm cool, I'm cool. If other people said I'm rich, right? That's how I kept my identity, right? But Danny, how do you know? What if, so I remember I worked with a coach, like a motivation mindset coach, and I asked him, yeah, but if everyone says you smell, if everyone says you smell, then you smell. Then no one likes you, right? Like, if everyone says you smell, then you smell. You smell like poop. If everyone says you're dirty, you're dirty. But you know what's funny? There's a funny story about, you guys know about the Liver King? So apparently Liver King, there was a podcast about how that he smelled so bad because he used like natural deodorant or whatever, and he just smelled so bad, right? But think about the Liver King, right? The guy was still rich. The guy was still jacked. The guy had his family. And his family didn't think he smelled. They got used to it. So I'm not saying, guys, just walk around because you love the smell of your own BO. Obviously, I always say, depending on society, you still got to bring value to society because you live in a society. You can't just, that's why we don't go to another person's house and rob it or kill someone, right? Or we just go to a girl and say, obviously, you don't make a girl like you. You don't force that, right? But what I'm saying is, at some point with attraction, especially, right, being a high value man, you need to identity shift. You need to believe that you're, so let me tell you back to the fitness story. So at that moment, I realized I am no longer a fat kid who is transforming, who is working on towards becoming a jack guy or an attractive guy or a fitness guy. I now shifted at that moment that my identity is now I am a fitness guy who works out every single day, who takes care of his body, who invests more in his health than any other things. And once I made that decision in that moment on that boat, I realized that every single thing I do, every decision I make is based on my health. So yeah, my first identity when I was a child was that I was a chubby kid. And that kind of led to decisions. Yeah, at moments I would become unchubby and I would not be chubby, I'd be jacked, skinny, whatever, blah, blah. But I always go back to the fat kid habits. But now because my identity is that I am a person who invests in my health, I'm a person who's always in shape, I'm a person who's at the peak physique of the society, everything I do now is 100% based on that identity. So let's go back to identity shifting when it comes to dating or attractiveness or being a high value man. So you need to figure out what, so right now most of you guys feel like you're unattractive. Let's be honest. The reason why you're watching videos, you're learning how to be attractive, how to be high value, how to be like that. You can't tell yourself and for yourself, I am attractive, I am attractive, I'm attractive, even when you don't change anything. So you need to go test out the waters. You need to figure out, either work with me or other coaches or watch other videos and figure out what makes you attractive. A real good dating coach does not make the client look like him. So I don't focus on my clients to look like me. I don't teach them the same game I do. I don't teach them the same things I do. Eventually I tell them, I'm just giving you a basic outline, right? The concepts that work, right? Because right now you guys don't know how to be attractive. And once they figure out the concepts of what makes a man attractive, now they start creating their own style, right? Because some guys want to use money, right? So I'm a good example where I first achieved success with women because of my game and my looks. So girls started validating me on my looks, so I focused more on my looks. But let's say I started getting validation from money, right? When I started spending money, girls started liking me more. Then I probably would have made more money. But no matter what, you still need game. But there's guys who use money and game, and there's guys who use looks and game, right? So I focus more on improving my looks, my physical SMV, while other guys maybe uses money, status, and power. But now, like I said, you guys need all of it. But that's what it is, right? And eventually, you need to figure out what makes you a high-value man. If you really could create a character, a video character of an identity, right? You put on the armor, in Fortnite, you put on armor, gear, guns, whatever thing. What would that person look like? What is the identity mapping or identity shifting of that ideal person you want to be, right? And you could even name this character, right? You could, it's like Neo, right? So Mr. Anderson, right? If you guys watch The Matrix, he talks about Mr. Anderson, but he says his name is Neo. His ideal form is Neo. So you kind of have to create that version of yourself. Who is the Neo version of yourself? So you got to identity shift, because once you identity shift, so actually this is the way to maintain it. If you could actually, before you start this attractive journey to become attractive, become a high value man, if you could identity shift, right? First, figure out the identity of what a high value version of you looks like, and you start acting accordingly, then you'll maintain it forever, because now that's the foundation of you're built on. So everything you do is based on that identity, instead of you just copying another coach, instead of you watching YouTube videos and doing things that you would never do, right? But you also can't act on the identity of who you are. So right now, if you feel unattractive, you can't force the identity of who you are and say this is attractive. Well, I'm gonna make this version of myself. Let's say you live in your mom's basement. Let's say you have zero money. Let's say you're not bringing value to society. You can't force that person to be attractive, because the reality, the video game you're playing in, right, don't find that attractive. Girls don't find people in a basement where you're living off your parents attractive. So either you go and wait until that becomes attractive, I guess a alternate reality where that becomes attractive, or you have to at least figure out how can you be attractive in today's society and bring your own video game character. Because think about like Fortnite and all these video games. There's multiple ways to win the game, right? You don't have, every video game character is different, right? Everyone customizes each video game character differently, and you could win, right? But you have your own strongest version of yourself. You could make, so some people might want guns, some people might want swords, some people want blah, blah, all this stuff, right? So you have to customize yourself, but you have to customize yourself in your own best way, and in a way, be able to still play the video game. You still have to play the rules of the game. So basically, if you are living in society, and let's say they say, tall guys are attractive, right? Let's say that's the video game we're playing in. And usually it is, right? Most society finds taller guys attractive. find a way to make yourself a little bit taller, right? Like there's could be boots, you could wear height enhancing shoes, anything, right? But also make your presence taller, right? How do you make your presence bigger? Maybe you do need to get in shape, right? Maybe you gotta find clothes that make you look taller instead of wearing, like I always tell my shorter clients, don't wear oversized baggy clothes. That doesn't fit you because you're short, right? And if you're overweight, oversized, it will never be oversized, tight on you. So I always tell guys, you gotta like figure out how to create the identity shift, find your identity of the most attractive version of yourself in today's game, in today's world, in today's reality, and figure that out and create that. And if you create that identity and you see that picture, you see that version of who you are, that identity, now you can identity shift and you can act accordingly. Instead of kind of like throwing out, like trying everything, you can figure out what the identity version of you, the highest value of you, most attractive version, and create that, right? So for me, it was having a nice body, right? Being healthier, more on my looks, focusing on my fashion, being a little bit metro, right? Taking care of myself. That to me is attractive. I like that. So that's where I'm going. Some people, it could be a affluent lifestyle, having nice cars, nice watches, all that stuff. So you got to figure that stuff out. And then once your identity shift, then you could become that person and you could act accordingly, and then you maintain it because that's your new identity. So they ask you who you are, you're that new identity. Like Neo, at the very end when he finds Agent Smith, he says, I'm not Mr. Anderson, I'm Neo. My name is Neo. That's what he says. So that's his new identity. It's not Mr. Anderson from when he was living in the Matrix. So I hope they'll help, guys. Once again, guys, hit me up on a coaching call. Let's do some identity shifting together, right? Like at No Strings Attached, DiamondAgentDating.com. Hit me up on Calendly. We could also join that Facebook group. I just did a live today about this, about identity shifting and identity mapping. So we'd love to talk to you guys. Hope this video helps. It's been a pleasure. Captain Daniel out.